The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We're three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
Today we're doing something, again, interesting, because we, we're just trying to, go with the flow. We're doing...
Speaking of flow, Chris...
Why are you looking at me like that, Mikey? I had the best flow there ever, and you messed me up.
No, I'm speaking of flow. Is your hair is it's growing out, eh? You're getting long, getting a little shaggy.
I haven't had time to go get a haircut. Every time I finally have some time, I call my haircut guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this party, or I'm doing this," and I'm like, "What the hell, man? I just want to get the sides done. I'm gonna do like a mohawk a frohawk."
Interesting. Can't wait to see it on the podcast.
All right.
I'm just trying to do weird things for the entertainment value,
I see it.
Just like, speaking of entertainment value, we're reviewing the old MTV Cribs episode with the Jackass characters. Came out October 21st of the year 2002. And nice. I was looking for a fun fact for the day, and I stumbled across a new fun fact website.
Oh, interesting.
This website is called Today in Terrorism.
Whoa.
So they actually document apparently all the terrorist attacks that happen every day. And this day there was a bombing of a bus in Israel.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to really use this site going forward. Boy. It was a little depressing. But it was the best I could find today, unfortunately.
Right. I think.
And hey, if anybody wants to know what's going on in the terrorism world, todayinterrorism.com.
Yeah, Today in Terrorism. Is that maybe why your computer's running a little bit slow? You're going to get a knock on your door from Edward Snowden and his crew or something like that.
Fuck yeah. Well, that'd be kind of cool. Fucking move me off into
You're on to something now.
South America or something.
You can just do that yourself. You don't have to wait for the NSA to do it for you.
Chris setting the tone here for this episode because, hey, if you want to be depressed, just look at some of these MTV Cribs that we're about to enter today. And you'll feel something. You'll feel a little tickle on the inside. This is a strange episode. I mean, we're going back into the world of MTV. This immediately reminded me of doing Viva La Bam, and it's got the attitude. Punk rock, jump into your furniture, wreck your kitchen table, give your parents the finger. It's MTV. Fuck yeah, boys. Listen, we're going to visit Staple Crazy Stevo. And he says... That's not the only pussy that's brought fleas into this apartment, eh? Yeah.
Honestly, man.
Yeah. I fucking hate MTV's presentation. This era of MTV is just hard to go back and watch. It is something that is so
specific to the era. I forgot about the energy. It all got ruined for me when I watched. There was an episode of Tim and Eric that did like a spoof of MTV, and they did it so well while highlighting all of the little cliches that MTV does. And you're like, holy shit! I don't know if I can watch MTV anymore. And from that moment on, I don't know that MTV ever survived. They basically just got called the fuck out.
It's kind of fucked up because when I'm watching this, I kind of had this really sad realization that I feel like I got trapped in that MTV era. I got fucking frosted tips right now. I'm wearing a 90s rap hoodie. Come on, man. The only thing I need is a puka shell. Like Mikey said, it's eventually going to happen. And it's just weird. I was watching the Dark Side or the Woodstock 99 thing, and everyone's like, man, this was such a bad era. It was disgusting, and and I was like, I fucking love that time. You know what I mean? Which is kind of fucked. And I'm like, am I just this washed up old fucking hag that's still living in the fucking 90s? I guess
you'll be happy to know that it seems like it's making a resurgence. I was looking at the demographics of our listeners and across all our social media platforms. There's a decent chunk that are 16 to 21. And I'm like, how do you guys even know about Jackass? Yeah, it's definitely coming back around. It's becoming a thing. So, Chris, you're going to be
I can be the king. I'll be the king of the...
Exactly.
I'll be that old guy at the beer belly who's just living in the frat house.
Back in my day, we could drink 2 pints of Red Bull and not think twice about it.
Hey, Mikey, how can you see the demographic in terms of ratio of sausage to clamshell, or how's that?
High sausage to clamshell ratio. You may not be surprised to find out. Yeah. But honestly... more female listeners than I would have expected, or female identifying listeners. Yeah.
Stay away from Chris. Just word of advice. Just stay away from Chris.
Dude, this is all I got going for me, man. Don't fucking throw me in the river like that.
Sorry. No, turn that around. Mikey, edit that out. Chris is a great guy. I've known him my whole life. He definitely won't do anything inappropriate on a first date.
No, of course he won't.
Or in any situation, really.
Yeah.
He's actually probably the most appropriate guy I've ever met.
Yeah, and his place, if you're watching us on YouTube, is a lot cleaner than the likes of Stevo, which we're going to get introduced to in one of the most uncomfortable Cribs interviews I've ever seen.
Dude, oh my God. So you're right, Mikey. Let's launch right in. The first up, 1,100 square feet, 2 bed, 2 baths, a skate ramp. I mean, it's got some good bones, but those chiffon curtains are so 1996 and just need to go. Hey, you know what? When Stevo greets you, he also doesn't say hello when he opens the door. You know what Stevo says when he opens the fucking door?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. In poorly enunciated Spanish, he also does call this the Casa de Stevo.
Yes.
Sounds like something my dad would say.
Casa de Stevo. The funniest thing about this is he has a look on his face that's like he forgot about this. First of all, let's say that. He absolutely forgot about the Cribs crew coming to his house.
I don't even think he knew it was happening
thinking it was his drug
dealer.
Happening. He absolutely thought it was his drug dealer. And he's like, yeah, dude, wait, why do you have a camera this time? This is crazy. And then he realized it was fucking Cribs.
So he's got a roommate. Name is also Steve, and Johnny Knoxville's hanging out. He says, hi, kids. Now, I can smell this house just by looking at it. There's beer cans stacked everywhere, carpet stains. I've smelled this house before. It just it smells like bros, dude.
It definitely smells like bros. It smells like what you would imagine his roommate Steve smells like. His roommate Steve looks like if Fred Durst had Kirby powers and sucked up Fred Durst to turn into another version of Fred Durst. That's what Steve looks like. He's just the most. I like it. And I saw him, and I swear I saw him, and I was like, there's no way that's Steve Schleintz, as in producer of 5 episodes of Foxy Lady, Steve Schleintz, as in 13 episodes, producer of JC the Barber, Steve Schleintz, the director of 2 episodes of Killin' and Grillin' and the movie Balls Girls. Is it that Steve Schleintz that we're looking at right now? And it was.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was.
I've heard of none of those shows.
He's a legend in the underground scene.
He's a legend. Apparently,
he got most of his motivation on his, if you want to call it a bed, you know, when he was pounding those old turkey sandwiches. You know what I mean?
What?
No,
an old turkey sandwich.
Sorry, Mikey. I was trying to roll with your thing, and I just had no idea because I couldn't even think about who this guy might be.
No, he's actually. I was so confused. Look, he's Stevo's roommate. He has to be someone. I looked him up. He does have an IMDb page. He also runs a security company now. But all I know is Balls Girls is a movie that I think I want to do on this podcast at some point.
Hey, you know, speaking of balls, though,
does it take place in Thailand?
Oh, you tell me, Chris. You've been there.
Yes,
it does.
Oh boy. Speaking of balls, though, guys,
I plead the fifth.
We got to bring out the cheetah Speedo here, and he does mention, Stevo says that I don't have a lot in there, despite what you may think. He's even got the small wiener tattoo on his arm. I have a small wiener. He says he's all balls, which I think is just a great visual, and I'm glad he put it into that context for us. He really packaged that up nicely. No pun intended.
He did.
This solved the mystery that I've always had.
Which
you
is,
know, you always wonder.
Okay.
Like with that leopard bikini, you know, the balkini, like it just, you're like, there's no way that's there. You know, it got to have some stuff. It just looked too legit,
generous.
Like just too, yeah, exactly. And now we know.
Well, especially because he always talks about how he has a small dick, and you see him in the balkini, and you're like, I don't know about that, dude. You look pretty good to me.
Now, going back to the roommate for a second, Steve here,
Steve Schleintz.
Geez, sorry, I don't want to disrespect
Director of Balls
here.
Girls.
Director of Balls Girls. Yeah, he deserves an Academy Award for that. That work, I'm sure. But speaking of safe sex, says Johnny Knoxville, why don't you show them the bedroom? Now, there's something here I want to point out, because then Steve, the camera pans to Steve, not Stevo, other Steve, roomy Steve, and he laughs as though he's failed to laugh at one of Johnny Knoxville's jokes before, and has now been like Pavlov's dogged into laughing anytime Johnny Knoxville says something that he perceives having a punchline. He looks like he's been held hostage.
He wants to be cool to Johnny, but I think Johnny is giving this vibe the whole time. Like I felt being toured around Stevo's place. I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to touch anything in my immediate workspace because I felt like I would get dirty just because I was also looking at SteveO's living conditions. Like, if we haven't stressed this enough, and by the way, this video is out on YouTube for free, so you should definitely watch the episodes of Cribs before listening to this. But if you haven't seen it, it's filthy. It's fucking filthy everywhere. Think about the worst college dorm you've ever seen or college room you've ever seen. I legitimately think this tops it. It's disgusting. You don't think so?
Not if you spend some time in fucking Birmingham in England. When I went to go visit my buddies out there that I met in Thailand randomly, I was like, oh, I'll get a hotel. They're like, oh, we got plenty of space. I wish hopefully I could find this picture. There was like, I think 9 of us in one double bed and all on the floor and everything on the ground. They put oil down all over the couch that I was going to sleep on to make a slip and slide in the house. No running toilets. People were pissing and shitting out the windows. It was the most fucked up thing I've ever been a part of in my entire life. And I had mono the whole time. I just did fucking MDMA to fucking help me deal with the circumstances.
Did you visit England in like the time of the Black Plague when people are just throwing their shit out the window? How is that a thing?
That would have been way better than this, honestly. It was the most fucked up thing. I had a panic attack. I got there. I'm like, I'm supposed to live like this for 3 days? And then I ended up getting a hotel the next day just so I could take a shower because no one had a shower. People were just using baby wipes under their arms to fucking clean up before the bar.
That's fucking gross.
It was miserable.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But so, okay. So maybe you wouldn't be as uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable and it was very clear Johnny was uncomfortable, but like Johnny, the star that he is, it's very clear SteveO was hungover and not all there. So Johnny starts to like take over and do some of the interview like, hey, why don't you show them this? Why don't you show them that? The worst of it though is when they show SteveO's bathroom. This legitimately made me want to gag.
Oh my God.
It's disgusting.
Mikey, you're totally right too, that the guys are basically getting paid to be hungover today. It's asinine. Like that's what's going on here. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. And we go out of that bathroom, we go into Steve's room. He was a Marine, so Knoxville naturally comments on the state of his poorly made bed.
The funniest part about that is SteveO bigs him up. SteveO's like, listen, I get my room is shit, but like, wait till you see Steve's room. This place is a masterclass in clean living. And we go in and I'm like, man, I think
he said you could bounce a quarter off his fucking sheets.
Off the sheets as though it's like made military style. He doesn't even have a fucking box spring. I think there's just a pile of like sheets on the floor. And thank God Johnny brings it up. Like, this is the neat freak. This is the military man. Like, what are you talking about? And SteveO looks at Johnny like, I don't get what you're talking about. This place it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got the, obligatory skate ramp built into the corner of the house and kind of like the main hallway, I suppose, or whatever you want to call that. But it looks like it gets lots of use, especially telling from, the overturned chair that's sitting right in the middle of the ramp. Yes. I love that they had to like tilt the fridge at an angle to make room for it. I had to ask though, Chris, does SteveO skate? I couldn't actually remember if he was a skater or not. I mean, he
grew up skateboarding and filming skateboarding, but how he got into this in general is like he just realized he wasn't going to be good enough to be a professional skateboarder, but he wanted to hang around the skate scene. So he started doing kind of stunts and filming them, etc. So that's kind of how he got into Big Brothers, just by doing stunts. But he always loved skateboarding and does skate, and to this day skateboards, but was never like going to be able to make it pro. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah. Mikey, any comments on the diet, on SteveO's diet here? Did you catch some of the items in the fridge?
This is like, Chris, you talked about not having a bathroom at your friend's place and not being able to shower. That would be rough for me as well. But the idea of only having a diet made of Hungry Man and like frozen macaroni, that started to give me anxiety. I had to like go downstairs and drink a smoothie when I saw that. I'm like, I don't understand how you live like this.
It's either Cupcake Boy.
Cupcake Boy.
You don't remember that from Clueless? Remember we used to call each other Cupcake Boy?
No. What are you talking about?
You don't remember?
What the fuck?
remember Deontay or whatever his name was? When they had the girl started dating that guy who was like, and then he was like, oh no, he's a Cupcake Boy. And they're like, what are you talking about? Remember because the guy was gay and then no one knew, but he was just like,
boy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should bring that back. That feels friendly.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot more family than the rest of them. You know what I mean? It's less harsh.
Fair.
It's gentle.
Also, who doesn't love a cupcake?
Yeah, I love a fucking cupcake. Yeah.
I think though that my favorite moment in this interview that I think says everything you need to know about SteveO at this point in time, after they show the bathroom, there's a moment where you see SteveO kind of like almost like background of the camera walks into the bathroom. and just generally snot rockets in the vicinity of the bathroom. Not blows his nose. He's just like, but what this means is he had the forethought to say it would be very rude to snot rocket just anywhere in my house. So let me do it I'll halfway poke my head through the door frame of the bathroom, still fully in sight of the camera. Like that, he's thinking he's doing the right thing. That's what I mean. If he just thought snot rockets were bad, were totally okay, he'd do it anywhere. But he knows they're bad enough that he should hide them. And his idea of hiding them is by leaning his head into the bathroom and just snot rocketing on the fucking ground. It's vile.
Absolutely disgusting.
It's vile.
You know what that immediately reminded me of too is that carelessness, that just, open the door and let her fly mentality. I had a friend who was renting a place where he had a furnace room just full of the empties after drinking. And he just literally just opened the door and chuck it in without even looking or a second thought. And I peeked my head in there. You couldn't even fucking see the floor anymore. It was like a ball pit made out of beer cans.
That's, you know what? There are moments of that, like that's better than the snot rocket, I think. Just having like that is such a university mentality. Just put it behind a closed door and you don't see it anymore. The thing is, SteveO's bathroom isn't even a closed door. It's just a doorway leading to where his snot rockets compile. Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah, Knoxville has had enough, so he decides he's taking off. And hey, why don't you Knoxville over a bunch of cans on your way out? Why don't you? Hey, SteveO invites. Did I get the name right? Ryan Sinetti, skater. Ryan Sinetti. I don't know.
It's Ryan Simonetti.
I was fucking close. Cinnabon. Yeah. Listen, so he comes over, he wrecks SteveO's premium 27-inch CRT television. Let one of those fall on your ankle. That'll break it real quick.
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned last week that you just got a new TV. Are you jealous of this one?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it wouldn't be so bad to go back to those days. I miss that familiar whine, that high pitch, whatever frequency that is.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I should just buy a speaker that just emits that all day. Be like my childhood all over again. But listen, at this point in the interview, we're almost done with SteveO, but I'm kind of getting this hey, what the fuck, Cribs? You're still here. Why? He's almost like he forgot there was cameras in his face. So he decides, well, fuck it. Let's just put Tabasco in my eyes, I guess. That'll get rid of him.
Yeah.
It just straight left turn here out of nowhere.
Tabasco in the eyes, jumping over banisters, skateboarding into things. At least someone used the ramp. That's kind of cool. And then they just kind of take I'll listen, I'm a simple man. If you want to throw Tabasco in your eyes, I'll watch it and I won't complain. I'll always do that. So good on SteveO for entertaining, but it is funny. Yeah. When Johnny took his leave of absence, he's like, thank God there's a skateboarder here. I'm getting the fuck out of here. He didn't want anything to do with it. So they go up to the roof. Did you guys notice who we see on the roof of this place?
Nick Dunlap,
his
and
manager.
Manny was there. Young Manny was there.
What the fuck was Manny doing here? That was hilarious. I always thought that Manny is more amphibian than human. He can't live too far away from the water.
100%.
Yeah. It's you can't live in an urban setting. What are you doing, Manny?
But there was a rooftop pool, so that's kind of why he was able to adapt to be there.
Well, do you think he was sitting by the pool because he's like Daryl Hannah from that mermaid movie? Where she has to have water on her, otherwise she'll turn into her mermaid legs will turn or her legs will turn back into mermaid legs or something. He has to be close enough to water that he can maintain his
in case of emergency
animal agency about him. Yeah,
I feel like he's closer to that animal that gets fallen in love with. What's that movie that won the Oscar or whatever?
Oh,
where the
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. I feel like he's closer to that Shape of Water creature than a human being.
The only two things I remember about Shape of Water: one, girl fucks a fish and won an Oscar for it. Two,
oh yeah,
Michael Shannon corners two people in the bathroom and gives them a lecture on why some people wash their hands before they pee and some people wash their hands after they pee.
I've never not washed my hands. I always wash my hands before I pee now ever since watching that.
I think about it all the time. And so viscerally, he unwraps a candy and eats it after peeing. And I'm like, what is wrong? Michael Shannon can't help but play the creepiest fucking dudes in everything he does. He's either whipping himself in the back in Boardwalk Empire, getting his neck snapped by Superman in Man of Steel, or telling people why they shouldn't wash their hands after they pee in Shape of Water.
Well, man. Only in America you can win an Emmy for fucking a fish. That's it. Only in America. Last point on the SteveO thing. You guys notice that when he goes up there, he says, "This is my roof." Stevo, it's not your roof. It's clearly just the community-owned apartment building roof with a community pool on there and some community lawn chairs to sit on.
I'm sure no other residents will want to go anywhere near there if those boys are
That's
up there.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, they've claimed the
territory.
Yeah, they're probably pissing and shitting all over the place, snot rockets, you name it. But we got to move on from Stevo. I'm starting to feel a little dirty. I feel like I got to take a shower after that. So next up, fuck me, I can't talk today. 4,800. How about that? Square feet, 4 bed, 2.5 baths, 7-foot mini ramp, 1 Sasquatch in a cheeseburger t-shirt. It's Westchester, PA, baby. Bam's parents' house. And the first thing we get is Bam just inviting you in to say, hey, look at my mom's dumb living room. Isn't she silly? Nobody goes in this stupid room. How stupid is she?
You know what, though? I got a thought, because we never see that area when they're filming Viva La Bam. Do you think there was like an agreement between Bam and his mom? Like, look, I know that I'm an asshole and I'm going to do my thing. Here's one area of the house that we are literally not allowed to touch. This is yours. This is because I don't think they ever do. I don't think they go in there and mess with it. It seems like her little bastion, her safe haven within the house.
Yeah, I don't think that would work, because I think if you told Bam, like, this place means a lot to me, he would want to fuck with it more, especially as the seasons went on. You know what I mean? Like, what about Phil in the fucking shitter? If there's no safe space like being in the shitter, fucking nothing's off the fucking table. Let's be honest.
That's true. Okay,
all
good
right.
point. Good
point. Little case study then here. A little case study.
Hey, how about how about an appearance by Glorin, eh? Jen Revell, aka Glorin from Haggard.
There you go.
Oh, fuck.
Listen to last week's episode. By the way, before I get into our case study of Bam Margera here, I gotta say that if you haven't listened to Haggard, go listen to it. It's last week. But Chris did such a good job of selling that he liked the movie that I'm still not really sure if he actually liked the movie. But I was listening back, and I will say there was this one part where he said, yeah, The Wire is not as good as this. And I thought, nah, he's full of shit.
He is.
On that part. But the rest of it, it was fucking good, man.
I gotta say,
did you see someone commented on her Instagram? She was like, I literally watch this movie every week. It's like a safe space background noise. I could not believe it.
You have no idea. I couldn't tell if people were fucking with us, but like, they came out in droves. People were very upset on TikTok about how much we were dragging this movie. Like,
I didn't drag it though. That's why I'm the fucking hero. You know?
Course, yeah. No,
I fucking saw this one coming a mile away.
People just constantly saying like, you don't get it. Oh, you took it seriously. You have no sense of humor. And I'm like, no, it just wasn't funny. Like, for the life of me, I can't tell if this is people going so far the other way just to mess with me. But it seems like Haggard fans are coming out of the woodwork, and it's scaring me.
That's fair. You go and listen if you haven't, or give it a re-listen and let us know. Was Chris full of shit? That's all I really want to know.
There you go.
Because if he's selling, that is some hard fucking selling, man. You should go work in the WWE or something, because you got the gift. Now, all right, we got to get back to Cribs. Bam Margera, a little case study here. Like I said, did you guys notice this next scene is there's something strange, something peculiar here. They're in the kitchen, and all I can think is when Bam says, let's make fun of my mom here because she bought a $90 teapot. Look, it's got the price tag right on the bottom. I'm just thinking, Bam? Is that you? Well, it appears, boys, that what may have happened is that a sentient alien creature may have commandeered the body of Bam Margera and is putting in a sizable effort to fool us into thinking that the real Bam Margera doesn't fuck around when it comes to tea time. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Bam is way off this whole episode. I don't know who this person is.
You know what? I agree with you, man. This is not the Bam Margera that we know. This is non-character Bam, and I love it. I honestly, like, he's a little bit more reserved. This is already after Jackass the movie came out. You can tell because he's got the movie poster hanging up in his editing room. But he's so sincere and a little sweet, and he's kind of dropping the facade a little bit. And I had a note. I'm like, I'm falling in love with Bam Margera all over again, and it feels fucking great.
That's funny you guys say that, because I couldn't disagree more. Like, everything about this entire episode, you know, SteveO, it showed SteveO in a time capsule at that time. It showed every aspect of him, to the point that you're like, when I remember watching it when I was a kid being like, this is all staged. And now we know after the fact, clearly none of this was staged. Bam is still there. He's showing off his fucking cars, his fancy shit. Bam's always going to be the guy that's more vain and more into that type of stuff. And yeah, maybe he wasn't as ego driven as he got later on, but that's because this is still relatively new. They probably haven't even got many of their checks yet from the movie. You know what I mean? So it's like it is the start of it, but you definitely see that start. Like he's the only guy there in this entire thing who's trying to show off. The other guys are trying to show up
for sure
how much of like dirtbags they are.
I think it's just that he may not have the cockiness that he developed eventually. Like, and not cockiness in a negative way. It's just the character that he eventually, became. There is an element of like a kid at show and tell here. Like, and now over here, I've got this. I don't know. You may find it sweet. It's my wall of skateboards. Every time I break a skateboard, I just come here, grab a skateboard, and I jump on it. This one's my favorite. It's pink, but pink is a pretty cool color, or is it nerdy? I don't really know. Like, it just seems like he's not quite there, but it's very endearing, and I really like it.
Yeah, we do get a roll down the stairs. He does like a fall down the stairs, like a stuntman thing, because that felt like Bam. I was like, okay, now he's kind of putting it on a little bit more. But you're right. There's like a Bam in development feel going on here. It's kind of strange. He's in and out. But he does go to visit Phil. We should stop here real quick to talk about this. He goes into his office. Phil's doing his tax shit. And he asks him, how much is in my bank account? To which Phil responds, $250,000, which I was talking to you before we started, Mikey, about this.
Yeah.
That knowing who Bam is and the success he's about to go on to from this point, $250,000 seems like nothing. It's actually surprising to hear that.
It does seem, especially given the fact that he's got like 4 or 5 cars out front.
Right.
He's got the big house
That's
that he's paying for. That why he's only got 250. No, you're probably right.
That's
he probably
possible,
doesn't want more than that in his bank.
Keep in mind, he was big into skateboarding. I don't know if it was around this time or a little bit before. I'm assuming it was a little bit before. And his deck is one of the highest selling decks, if not the highest selling deck of all time.
Yeah.
And so the royalties you get, I think it's like $3 per deck. He sold like, I think most of this money wasn't even from Jackass yet. This is from his skateboarding career, which only got even further later on.
For sure.
He definitely knew how to spend compared to the other guys. We'll see
I think that was also part of his
it.
brand, right?
Yeah.
Like Floyd Mayweather. Like you spend to show you have to make it seem like you have more, but in
he's
spending
basically
you have
like
less.
the first version of like all these internet. What are they called?
Like influencers, things like that. Yeah.
They fucking spend all this money to show that they have money, and then they're actually broke as fuck. But showing that they have money in turn creates more wealth and prosperity.
It does feel like there's a little bit of that.
I got that.
It was
they
great.
Get into a fight too, though. Classic. Sorry,
yes.
Mike, you were going to say something.
No, it was great. It was like, he goes straight into, he's like, how much money do I have? This much. Okay, time to beat up my dad again. It was like, it's just the same old feels that you get. But I got to say, the one thing that I think this episode got wrong is I wanted a full episode of Cribs on Rab himself's hobbit hole in the basement. I wanted so much more of that. That thing was fucking hilarious. That. And I didn't realize this, but the reason he had to move into a little, like, literally behind the furnace, it looks like where Deco...
Dude. Sorry, no, I just got to say, you said behind the furnace, but it really appears like they had to peel back the drywall and shimmy in between the inner cavity of the house to get there. It's the most ridiculous thing.
That's the kind of place you have in your house that you've been living there for 20 years and don't even realize it exists. And you find out when you realize a homeless person's been living in there, like the fucking movie Parasite or something like that. Like he's in there. And the reason he had to go live in there is because he kept pissing the bed in the guest room, and Bam's like, my parents just got too upset, so there's a little piss cot here that he could piss in all he wants. That's so fucking funny. Also, I'm pretty sure that area is where Deco filmed his scientist scenes from Haggard.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And even down there, speaking of Haggard, the arcade that was naked. What's his face house?
Naked Dave.
Naked Dave's house, yeah.
Naked Dave. And you got in the background, you got Rake and Deco just playing video games, like barely paying any attention to the fact that there's cameras there, which, foreshadowing Deco's eventual and Rake's eventual kind of like pulling away from the Jackass crew to do their own thing. The camera's there. They don't really care. They want to play their games and do their own thing. It was kind of nice.
Yeah. Dark and dank down there, baby.
Did you guys notice Rab's only decoration in his little hobbit hole was just like a Tampa Bay Lightning cutout and a CKY poster? Like, just randomly. I
can't believe you even decorate that little hobbit hole. Like, what's the point? I guess you got to make your home. I got to be honest,
though, it looks so cozy. I have a guest room in my condo that is just a little shithole that I just store a bunch of stuff in, and I sleep in there sometimes.
I always sleep?
Yeah, that's
where the upstairs one.
Yeah, the downstairs one, and that's where I sleep there a lot now because it's just dirty and out of the way, and just like I feel like a little shameful troll when I sleep. There, it feels great. Steve,
who directed Balls Girls.
Balls Girls. Hey, well done.
Oh God, yeah, and I mean, he's got a little bit more in the basement there too. I mean, he's got a quarter pipe that he's built down there for when it rains. He says smaller than what you're probably picturing if you haven't seen the episode. I think Bam is still kind of getting the hang of, hey, you know, building ramps indoors could be a thing. Like, go watch that Viva La Bam episode we covered where he's got the whole house converted. It's nothing like that. But he does want to take us outside after this and look at his car collection. Look, guys, I've got a Ferrari Medina. And he says every time he goes to the 7-Eleven, old dudes come up, probably like with a half chubby, just asking him about like how things are going, you know, how the timing belt works, all that shit, what you'd expect. We end with Bam in the backyard on his mini ramp, which he cites as a 6-foot ramp, but it's an East Coast 6-foot ramp, which is a 7-foot ramp. What the fuck is going on here? Just it's a fucking metric system, or what the fuck's going on?
I like
here?
that it's just a little bit of it, because then he ends it with something like, and now I'm here stuck with an oversized mini ramp. What am I to do? And then he just starts skating. I was like, that was kind of funny. A nice little
the fuck I want.
Whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, there you go. Well done.
Okay, but before we move on to the next part here, we are going to jump. I just want to go back to the bedroom for 1 second, boys, because I do have a question for both of you. Bam's room. Okay, first question. You notice the bug netting, right? Over the bed.
Yes.
He's got like this bug netting hanging down. Okay, so I'm wondering, is this pod person Bam Margera, remember, alien takeover, he also seems to think maybe that human beings sleep with mosquito netting to protect them from presumably the lizard people.
Do you know why he has the netting?
Because, what? You're not going to let me dare let me go on about the lizard people?
Sorry,
right,
yeah. Go on.
No, well, Jesse the Body Ventura would be ashamed of you for how dare you.
Oh, trust me, I know all about the reptilians. I'm all into that shit, man.
Like, the thing I'm saying is the netting is to keep the reptilians away at night, because, I mean, we know that the aliens have come to this planet to wrestle control of the population from the lizard people, so the mosquito netting is there to confuse them. You know, they get trapped in there, it gets all stuck to your skin, throws off their fine motor control. Chris, go ahead.
The netting's actually there because sometimes Don Vito stays there and he tracks a lot of flies.
Oh, shit. He's kind of like a lizard person himself if you take a closer look.
True.
More like a fucking hippopotamus person.
Yeah. I'll give you that one. Coming up
guys,
next.
Can we get on to my favorite thing? This is what I love about this fucking episode. It just made me so happy. Fucking Chris Pontius. Do we need any more?
Ryan
Dunn. Second
we still
there,
have Ryan
Cowboy.
Dunn.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're excited. But we'll get there. I'll let you intro that one. How about? That can be all yours, baby. Coming up next, though, we do have a 2-bed, 1-bath to visit. And you guys probably noticed this. When he opens the door, he says, "I'm Ryan Dunn." Like he carries around a recording, like a yak back of him that just plays "I'm Ryan Dunn" for various scenarios. I swear he was about to add on, "and this is corn sledding."
Honestly.
But
he does. He's very clearly comfortable in front of the camera right now. This is like peak Ryan Dunn. He's so cool and calm. Like, this is right as he figured out his character, his I don't give a shit character. And he's finally made it believable, because there's a point where he's trying to be cool and I don't believe it. And this is really the moment when he takes that shift into the Ryan Dunn that we know and love. But clearly when he answers the door, he's also hungover as fuck. Like, he looks so hungover, or he's just still grieving the loss of Glorin. One or the other. We're not too sure about that.
What's your guys' opinion on the pool table in the main entrance? Is that like a real, bachelor move? Would you guys do a pool table in the
I fucking love it.
I love it.
I just wouldn't use it for bills. I got to actually play pool on it.
And why does he have a gun on it? No one paid attention to the fact that there was a gun on the pool table.
Well, he just broke up with Glorin, so
yeah, true. He was putting in his mouth just so he could feel something. You mean?
What's wrong with the gun on the pool table?
It's a little dark.
What's wrong with it? Well, first of all, it's hard to play pool when there's a gun on the pool table. Secondly, don't you have a gun stand? What do you? Somewhere better to put the gun.
No, because
clearly, Mikey, you've never played gun.
You don't get it, Mikey. We all have gun safes, but we also have areas that we keep them. Because it takes too long to get into a fucking gun safe, and what's the fucking point? You know what I mean?
That's true.
All right. But yeah, he's got guns, he's got bills on there. He complains about having to lick the envelopes to mail the bills. Don't you guys just hate having to do that? What a pain in the ass. That
was a fun way.
I dip my finger in water.
Oh, really?
I will not lick an envelope.
I like the taste. I like the taste of envelopes.
What if someone what if someone tried to scam you and put acid on the envelope and then you just tripped out for a day? That's what my
Chris,
fear.
that's a risk I'm willing to take. I got to be honest with you. I thought about it a lot. I've weighed the pros and cons. I've studied the percentages, and I'm going to continue licking, and you can't stop me.
They should really make that a chicken wing flavor, Envelope,
honestly.
I mean, they've already done dill pickle.
Or a jelly bean flavor or something like that. I guarantee you that would take off.
No, I was saying like coat the chicken wings in the glue from the envelopes. I think you're going the other way with it. Okay.
Yeah, he's saying make chicken wings envelope flavor, not make the envelopes chicken wing flavor.
No, that's what I mean as well. I'm like make jelly beans as well, because jelly beans have like booger flavor and stuff like that. You can also make like envelope flavored jelly beans. Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're all clear on that. That's all.
Yeah, it's very important to get straight.
Yeah. Listen, he's got a family room, and Justin is his family. He says, Justin thinks I'm going to go gay someday, but I don't have the heart to tell him.
This is very 90s, early 2000s MTV. That is the most early 2000s MTV comment anyone has ever made. He thinks I'm going to go gay for him, but I'm not going to do that. It's just very. I'm surprised they didn't follow that up with. I'm surprised they didn't follow that up with like a wow 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 guitar riff before going downstairs and like that speed up fast motion. Like time to go to the basement. Here we go.
Man, you got this down on lock. Holy shit.
It was that Tim and Eric skit that completely fucked up the whole fucking chemistry.
100%.
Because you didn't even realize it that much until then. Once he did it, you're like, I can never look at this the same.
Why does Ryan Dunn live in this hobbit hole? He lives like if Rab himself had like the equivalent of a double wide compared to what Rab himself lives in. It's just like
it's like Trailer Park
copy and paste. Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Trailer Park Boys where it's like I'm getting the double wide trailer, and like fucking Ricky saves up all his money to get the double wide trailer, and then he fucking ends up having to kiss Leahy's ass or some shit because he spent the money on the books for his daughter.
Yeah,
it was a very sentimental moment. One of those great moments in Trailer Park Boys history.
Chris gets very sentimental when he sees one guy kiss another guy's asshole. It's just something that always sticks out to him for some reason.
Cheek. It reminds me of Vince McMahon in the Attitude Era too.
Oh yeah, the Kiss My Ass Club. Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
What kind of fucking asshole boss? Like you're on TV and you have to do this. Like that is pure for his own ego. Because he definitely did it because he wanted people to. Yeah, yes. He wanted people to be like, oh, look what I can make you do.
And it's funny that wasn't the thing that canceled him. It
was funny. He wore a thong while he was doing it too, which is the fucking weirdest fucking shit ever.
Well, no, that's because they couldn't show it a full ass on TV, right?
Just the visual of Vince McMahon, like this old man wearing a thong, and getting another man to kiss his ass on TV.
That was amazing. Honestly, this portion, the Ryan Dunn portion, was fun but a little disappointing because I guess he just literally didn't have that much to show, and maybe Justin was like, I don't want you. Like Justin, holy shit, when they show him on the couch, like he wants nothing to do with this. He's hungover as fuck as well. They clearly were partying up until the moment the Cribs crew came. Maybe they just got home from Stevo's place. I don't know. But there's like nothing in the basement apart from a fucking closet that he found in an alleyway and brought home.
But it's not a closet,
it's a locker. Like, what are you doing, Dunn?
It just goes to show, like, every single one of these segments, to me, really highlights exactly the core of these people, who they are, who they were before things came up, and we get to, like, compare to see nowadays, like, how much did they stay on their path? Like, This is the best glimpse we're ever going to get into their lives, because it showed what they did right when they got a bit of money and a bit of fame, and some of them didn't want to do much, some of them want to do a lot more, and I just love that we get to see this snapshot into these people.
Yeah. Because all Ryan Dunn did was get himself like a 1994 Audi, and that's
surprising.
Maybe he just legitimately didn't have money yet. We said maybe he didn't get the checks from Jackass. We know that the Jackass crew really didn't pay them that much anyway, so it's possible that he was still just kind of living in squalor at this point, which is mess. But not quite as bad as the person we're going to get into next, unless you guys have some more thoughts on Ryan Dunn.
Real quick, I will just say that I was so surprised to see that he had that 90 CS Quattro, as he calls it, the Audi. And he says, I'm wondering, like, how does he have such a nice car? And then he says, well, it pretty much smells like piss in there. And I went, yep, there it is.
It's the BO car from Seinfeld.
Yeah, it goes perfect with his stitched together fur coat that's, I can only assume, is a mix of raccoon, marmot, and lemur.
It looks that probably hit the nail on the head, to be honest.
It's a pretty haggard looking coat, if I do say so myself. Now, guys, I want Chris to take the reins on this next one, but I do have to ask you before we get into it. What's your take on tiny houses? Showering in the kitchen? Pooping next to your double bed? Chris, what do you think on this one?
If you could shower, shit, and cook at the same time, man, you fucking got life down. You're hitting you're getting 3 birds stoned with 1 rock,
That is the longest walk to get to that saying that I've ever heard in my entire life. That is the biggest, speaking of Trailer Park Boys, the biggest Rickyism you've ever said. You're getting 3 birds stoned with 1 rock. Amazing. I love it.
That is from Ricky. Something
it is.
Yeah. I totally fucking stole that. But I thought it was fitting because, you know what, the segue with the other Trailer Park Boys comment, you know, I'm deep. Like, I write this shit. Deep. I come up with these things very deep. People just think I'm stupid, but I fucking had well thought out.
Yeah,
very
I mean, and I'll say that to all of our listeners. Stop saying publicly, often, that Chris is stupid. Stop it. He's not that dumb. He is capable of hearing other jokes and repeating them.
Chris, tell us about Chris Pontius's luxury apartment.
It's just Pontius, man. He just you want to, if you ever need any excuse to like him even more, watch this episode. He's just him at his core. He lives in his fucking van, and I thought when I was watching this had to be the first time. I thought this had to be like a show for the cameras. Then, you know, SteveO talks about the bet him and Pontius had where they're like, we're going to see who can stay homeless the longest. Basically fuck different girls every night and do whatever they did so that they wouldn't have to get a place. SteveO quickly said, I was a drug addict. I needed a drug den. It's not very convenient to be a drug addict and not have a home. Right. And SteveO's spot. So this is all holding very true. Pontius is just living there. He's got his fucking van and he's just so happy. Everything about him is happy. You know what I mean? He
seems like it. At first I was like, oh, the poor guy. But then I'm like, I mean, he definitely would have had enough money to buy a slightly better truck if he wanted, but I just think he doesn't care about material possessions unless it's his guitar, which we'll get into later. But like, here's the one thing I'll say. Yes, he's probably happy, but we asked a long time ago, I think it was when we were doing Wild Boys or maybe even Jackass season 3 or something on this podcast months ago. We said, who do we think the worst smelling member of Jackass is? I think we have our answer now. It's gotta be Pontius. Just by looking at that material of the truck that he's living in, I can get the scent of what his car smells like. That hot fabric that's just been like cooking in summer heat
and puked
on. Now I know what he smells like, and I cringe a little bit. But everything else about it, I love to see how happy he is.
I think he smells fucking like very good. I feel like every night he picks up a new chick. And he doesn't just like go and have sex with them and go down. He's doing fun things like being in a bubble bath, like doing whipped cream, ice cream off each other. You know what I mean? He's probably got one of those like how the girls wrap their fucking hair with the towel, fucking comes out with fucking flip flops on. So he is getting good showers every night. In fact, he's getting scrubbed down in bubble baths by beautiful women.
Do you think
he can't smell bad?
Do you think Chris Pontius wears a towel over his tits?
100%.
100%. He wraps it around all the way up over his tits.
With the thing on his head and fucking flip-flops on.
And painted toenails and just owns it. Yeah.
Not like the flip-flops, but like the stripper ones with the fur.
Yeah. Like he tries to skateboard in later.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just a tell of our age that I felt bad? Like I felt pain internally when he said that he puked on his CDs last night, his CD collection. Like it hurt a little bit because I know how expensive they were back then, and to puke on your CDs, I don't know.
And especially because they get into the cracks of the jewel case. Like you can't throw up on your Spotify. You know, every time you open that Sum 41 album, it's going to reek a little bit of puke because there are just those crevices in that jewel case you can't get into.
But for some music, that might set the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, a little beer and puke stain smell just really puts you back in that spot where you really want to listen to that good music, you know?
Yeah.
Little scratch and sniff.
Do you guys...
Sorry, Mike.
No, I think you're about to say that the cross hanging in the rearview mirror that he's got. And he said he tries to do it because a lot of thieves wear crosses or are religious, so maybe it'd keep them out. And he said it doesn't really work. I was thinking, if only crosses worked on pedophiles, the Catholic Church would be a much better place, but they haven't figured that out either yet, so...
Maybe they could try, I don't know, garlic?
Garlic?
For the vampires? I don't know, fuck.
No, you just give all the priests a bunch of garlic so the kids don't want to go near them.
True, yeah.
Hey,
or give the kids the garlic.
You're welcome.
You know, I'm sure if they're fucking kids, they don't give a fuck about a little bit of garlic.
That's probably true, actually.
Fucking sick fucks.
But hey, speaking of sick fucks, this sick fuck's got a party in the USA G-string in the back. Let's go take a closer look at that. He says it makes your wiener look awesome. And speaking of this guy's got, he says his closet, which is just his backpack. Like, he's got so many wigs and costumes in there. Like, does he do kids' parties on the side?
The fucking Jackass costume department follows him around in his place. That's crazy.
I love how you get the insight where, like, you assume, like, you know, Jackass, a big production. They have like a area where they have like the costumes and shit. Okay, you wear this, try this for this set. No, this is all of them. Everything that they've worn is what they were going to wear anyways.
Yeah.
And it's just like such good insight into the whole thing. Like, I don't know, man.
I love that. And I love that within his costume department, which is what I'll call it. It's just in the trunk of his truck. He has the bag of G-strings. And I can't believe he missed, because what do you know Cribs for? There's one line everyone uses.
This is where the magic happens?
This is where the magic happens. And he has a bag of sexy G-strings and he doesn't use it on that bag. I was so bummed out by that. That is actually where the magic happens. And he forgot to say it.
Yeah. Likely all unwashed G-strings too, I can only imagine. I don't think
he explicitly said none of them have ever been watched.
Oh, dude. We got to talk real quickly about Chris's attempt to skate here. He jumps on a skateboard because, after all, the Jackass fans are all skaters. We got to get some sick skate tricks in here. Chris, why don't you name some of the skate tricks we saw in this portion of the video?
We saw a little 360 doop-de-doo, couple, varial heel flip body twists.
No, actually, it was a varial high heel flip body twist.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
You could have just said a high heel flip. That's what I thought he did.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive nonetheless.
It was. Honestly, I don't think I could stand on a skateboard with high heels on. And
I couldn't stand in regular life. You know when your mom brings in groceries and you got to you don't want to put on your shoes, so you just put on whatever fucking shoes are at the door. And sometimes you got one heel on and one flip flop, and you're like, how the fuck do girls walk in this shit?
I thought you meant shoes and skateboard aside, you just have trouble standing in life.
Oh yeah, that too.
It tracks.
That definitely had a couple years like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to wrap it up, the gym inspiration. Chippendale photos pasted on the side of the truck. Time to work out. But Pontius is only interested in one type of workout. Isn't that right, Mikey?
It's the butt workout. And boy, does it work. I will say, for a guy who just doesn't go to the gym, instead found a barbell in the bottom of a sunken swimming pool, he's in surprisingly good shape. It's the rustiest barbell I've ever seen. You get tetanus just by doing a squat, but he looks good for someone who just uses that barbell to do whatever it is that he wants to do, right? He's in pretty good shape.
You betcha. Well, it's time to head off into Chris's backyard and get the guitar out. Let's go write some songs, shall we, guys? We've got a nice bench overlooking the city, and I think if you look real close, we can see where Johnny Knoxville wowed us all for the first time and made history with one of the greatest Jackass stunts of all time, the LA River jump. The memories, boys, the memories. This song that Pontius plays for the outro, this is a real fucking hit right here. And I would request, Mikey, if it's convenient or if the algorithm lets you do it, could we go out on I Let My Mustache Do the Talking today?
I think I'll see if YouTube will let us upload that, but that would be a fun way. If nothing else, I will play some of the clip. And when you say that, and by the way, Jay logged into our session here with I Let My Mustache Do the Talking as his name, which is well done, top notch. I think the funniest thing about this is it seems like he's just making a joke, right? Like he's just singing a song, but he finishes the first bar or something, and you can tell one of the camera people tries to start clapping or something, and he looks so upset at the guy for interrupting him before he's done the song. He's like, he puts his hand up, he's like, and then he kind of gives like a frustrated laugh at it. It was like, clearly he cares about this song. And then, you know what? It's pretty good. I'd put that on my mini disc player, given this came out in 2002.
Yeah.
And that pretty much takes us away. We got a nice little montage. One last look at Pontius's Toyota Tacoma, and it's a little sentimental. And then we roll credits, and that is the end. And I think the only time Jackass has appeared on MTV Cribs. So that's it, boys. We wrapped her up. What did you think of this edition of Cribs?
You know what? I loved it. I thought this was, like Chris said, a great insight into each of the Jackass members. I think that they all had their own unique style that was what you would expect, while also giving a bit more insight into the rest of their personalities, man. I fucking loved it. I had such a blast. I'm almost sad that we don't get another one of these with every other member of Jackass.
Yeah, I loved every bit of it. It was a time capsule. And going back, and I remember watching it when it first came out, and watching it again now, I just have so much more appreciation for it. It was just fun, man. It's just light, fun, quick, easy. Exactly what I like in Jackass.
100%.
I would like to take a shower now, if that's all right.
Yeah, nothing will make me feel more gross than that SteveO tour. And nothing made me feel more sad than watching these guys just throw themselves downstairs, over banisters, into TVs. Remember when we could do that with our bodies and we didn't risk being out on the couch for like 2 months? It really actually legitimately bummed me out seeing that.
Yeah, the days, boys, the days. But those days are long behind us, much like this episode. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Jackast. As always, find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at JackastPod. And come say hi. Let us know what you thought of this if you saw it. If you haven't watched it yet, like Mikey said, check out YouTube. It's on there for free, so you can...
it's like a quick 20 minutes. Watch it before the episode. I mean, me telling you to watch it after the end of this episode probably doesn't make much sense. But
still worth it, and we'll link to it in the item description. You know what? Watch it and then listen to this again to get that extra insight.
Uh-huh. Oh, by the way, Mikey, you might have to edit this out, but I'm going to ask anyway. Did we get any comments for the Haggard? I know we were going to take comments on that, but
we did, but they were primarily all just like TikTok telling us that that we were wrong. So if you want to see all the comments, you can find us over on TikTok at JackastPod. And then we got a couple emails and stuff like that all just basically covered the fact that we were wrong about how seriously we took Haggard, which I still don't know if you guys are joking.
Fuck
you guys are wrong.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Fuck it. I'm done. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth. And this is where the magic happens.
Ooh.
I like that.
I let my mustache do the talking. I let my mustache do the talking. So good, huh?
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.